Hello everyone, my name's Tess Deegan. I'm one of the employment law solicitors at Kingsford Legal Centre. I'm recording this video today at UNSW, which is on Gadigal and Bidjigal lands. I pay my respects to those people's elders, past, present and emerging, and acknowledge that sovereignty has never been ceded. The purpose of today's video is to take you through how the Wednesday morning pro bono clinics run here at Kingsford Legal Centre. I'm going to try and keep it as short as possible and just address what you need to do before participating in the clinic and what happens on the day. If you have any other questions about Kingsford Legal Centre, how we work, the kind of extra assistance we can provide to clients, or anything else, please contact me. I'm always happy to talk. I'm going to try and share my screen now so that you can see the clinic manual. You should have received a copy of this, and I'm just going to use it to help me run through today's presentation. Okay, so I'll go back up to the top. So this is what the clinic manual looks like. It has a bunch of information in it about how Kingsford Legal Centre works. And I'm just going to run through this down to here. So there are some documents that we need to get copies of before we can run the clinic each week. The first thing I'd like you to have a look at is the Pro Bono Clinic Process Agreement. I don't need a signed copy from each individual lawyer of this agreement, just the firm is fine, but it would be great if you could read it through and make sure you don't have any questions about it. It's mostly about deleting confidential client information. The second document is the confidentiality agreement. I do need each volunteer lawyer to read through this, sign it or type their name into the signature box and send it back a copy by email, please. Finally, here we have our risk management guide. It's part of our insurance that we need every volunteer lawyer to read through this. It's not terribly exciting, but please have a look. The key sections are about confidentiality and conflicts of interest here. Okay, I'll just run through that quickly. So before you participate in the clinic, I just need to get that signed confidentiality document from you. And I also recommend that you have a look through the manual if you have time. Then on the day, so actually on the Monday preceding the Wednesday clinic, I'll get in touch with the firm and provide basic information about the 2 client appointments that are booked in for the Wednesday. Once conflict checks have been done, then I'll send further information for each client. The main document that I send is this, the client advice sheet, and you'll receive a Word document that looks like this and has some basic details filled out for each client. We'll use this document to record everything about the client, their personal details, their instructions and the advice that we give them. So you can see here, you would receive something like this with the client's name and their contact details. So once you've received that on the Monday or Tuesday, you're going to be ready for the clinic to be held on Wednesday morning. Because we're currently running the clinic remotely, the idea is that at the allotted appointment time, you will call the client from your work phone, or if it's from your personal mobile, I recommend putting that on no caller ID. And you're going to conduct the interview by telephone. At the moment, we're running 2 appointments each Wednesday morning. Usually the first one is at 9:30 and the second is at 10:45. Each appointment should go for about 1 hour, give or take. And so we've scheduled it so you have a little bit of time for a break in between the 2 appointments. So the first thing you're going to do when you call the client is introduce yourself, tell them that you're a volunteer lawyer and that the appointment is free and confidential. Then you need to ask the client a bunch of personal questions about themselves. And if they have any questions about this, you know, we basically need this information to be able to give legal advice. So please just reassure them that all of this information is kept completely confidential. But we do need contact details for them and answers to all these questions, including about their employment status, Centrelink status. We just need a rough estimate of their weekly or yearly income. And then there are questions about housing type, whether they are part of UNSW, that's relevant for our funding. And then there are a couple of more questions down here. How did they hear about Kingsford Legal Centre? Do they have any dependents? Do they have any disability? This section about other parties should already be filled out by us so that conflict checks could be carried out. If it becomes clear either at the beginning or at any point during the appointment that there are other parties involved that have not been conflict checked, please stop the appointment and let us know straight away so that we can carry out the conflict checks required. So I'm going to come back to this section about limitation dates, but for now we're going to scroll down to instructions, notes and advice. So there should be a short amount of information here to let you know the basics of the client's instructions, but you will need to confirm this with them and get fuller instructions from them about their legal problem. So we've got an example here that is an underpayment issue, which is very common. That's one of the issues we see very commonly. So you're going to have a conversation with the client about what the issue is. If they have any documents, they can email them through to Kingsford Legal Centre and I can forward them to you. So just let me know. Once you've looked at all of that, I usually find it good to just stop the phone call there and take a bit of time to review the information, do a bit of research if necessary. And if you want to take that opportunity to give me a call to check the advice, then that's a good time to do that too. Once you've figured out the advice and you're happy with it, then the next step is to call the client back and deliver the advice. And then you want to take clear, concise, comprehensive notes here of the advice that you give to the client. We try and remind everyone that we always want to advise people about time limits, that's very important, and then merits advice, whether they have a strong case or not, and process advice, like where can they complain to and what are the basics of making that kind of a complaint. Once you've given the advice and maybe tidied up your notes here, then I will ask you to go back to this section, limitation and critical dates, and fill out any limitation dates in particular. So for example, in an underpayment matter, you would put an X in the limitation box, write underpayment as the description. We don't need the exact date. You can just put 6 years as the issue period, and then yes or no, whether the client was advised. It's fine if you didn't get to advise the client on one of these dates. You just need to let us know so that I can do it when I follow up with the client. Critical dates is about, if the person has a Fair Work Commission conciliation scheduled, for example, you could write that in as a critical date. So once you've done that and you've tidied up all the notes, don't worry about this grey section, KLC fills that bit out. Then you just type your name in the solicitor box. We don't need your signature at the moment because we're doing everything remotely. And then you're going to send that document back to me for review. Once I've reviewed the notes from both of your appointments, then I will let you know if I have any questions. If not, I'll ask you to delete those documents and any other client information from your computer. And that's how the clinic runs. It usually takes up, I'd say from 9:30 until about 11:30, 12 on a Wednesday morning. And, we have amazing people that we help, and I hope that for you it will be a really rewarding and interesting experience. Okay, I'm going to come back to the screen here just to say thank you for participating in the clinic and contributing all of your time and energy and legal expertise to the people that we work with. It really makes a difference and it helps us to advise a lot more clients than we would be able to with our resources. So we really appreciate it and we really look forward to working with you. Thank you. Bye.